All right, you guys, thanks so much for hopping on to our Together Rising weekly training with today with myself and Rochelle. I'm Carmel, if you guys don't know me. I'm a Lavelle millionaire out in Ventura, California, and I'm going to have Rochelle introduce herself as well so that we all know who is who. And really quickly, as we dive into this recruiting, I think there's something very common that Rochelle and I have. And it's that we have been here she's here almost close to 7 years, and she's going to tell her story. And, we never gave up. I didn't think I could hit where I am today, but I fell in love with the product. I believed in the product. I had a desire to change my family's financial future. So I figured things out, and I didn't always have my upline available to me. But I listened and I applied, and if it didn't work out, I tweaked it. So here I am today. And I came into this business not believing that I could even earn a car. I thought I was going to work this business for maybe 2 to 3 months. Here I am 7 years later, and I'm trying to really impress upon people what network marketing, what this industry has, and what our company alone offers to us. They are so generous. So Rochelle, go ahead and share your story.
Well, just real quick, because hopefully we all know each other here a little bit, but honestly, I'm Rochelle. I'm out of Arizona/Nevada, and I've been thriving for almost 7 years now. It'll be December, and we kind of chit chatted a little bit this morning about sharing the same struggles when coming to attracting and building a team and building people that are like long term and not us dragging them across the finish line and doing all these things and never giving up, because I didn't have any experience either. I was no college degree, like no network marketing experience, stay-at-home mom, less than 200 followers on my Facebook, didn't have a big following that we always hear, how that helps people. But ultimately I knew what the product was doing for me, and I had a desire, a very burning desire to get out of the situation that I was in and to create a better life for me and my daughter. And that is just what held me on. And I was telling Carmel today, I'm like, I set at 12K for 5.5 years, like no growth. I mean, we would 25,000, come back down, but 12K to 4K was a huge jump. And it was a lot of mental, training, a lot of healing, a lot of overcoming the mental roadblocks, the personal roadblocks we place in front of us, from childhood trauma to the belief of not believing in ourselves or that we deserve success, but the more that I plugged in, I made friends with everybody. Everybody didn't know I was just a 12K or whatever. Like, I made friends with every single person that inspired me, because I knew I wanted to go to that place. And God's plan from me being very faithful and consistent from day one to now, was sharing my story. Our team ended up hitting 40K in January, and then the 80K in April. So double ranked during rank advancement. So it's just, your time is always there. But what I've learned along the way is all the work I had to do up here, and now attracting the right people that are long lasting relationships that aren't going to be the people that were come and go in 2 weeks, and then you're just discouraged, so that's one of the biggest things.
I think, piggybacking off of what Rochelle said, two things. We often, in this industry, in this company, they often highlight how fast people get to ranks. And majority of the time, people that are sitting, watching, and saying, I'm doing everything that you're telling me to do, I'm doing everything that they're saying to do, but I'm not ranking up. Listen, it'll happen when it happens, but you definitely have to nurture your mindset, and doing that comparison game does not help you whatsoever. So it really does matter where your mind is. And that is why we started the training with Jenny doing one on mindset. The other thing too, is it doesn't matter how long it gets you there. You guys, this company will be here for a long time. Nobody wants to give up their thrive. I know I don't. Sunday, I had no Thrive and I hated life. So, but it'll be here for a long time. You just have to, consistency compounds, exactly what Rochelle was saying. Consistency is key. And there's a video I did, or a training I did on the 5 C's, and it's not just consistency. So, all right. Let's get into it, shall we, Rochelle?
Yeah. So one thing that I wanted to point out too is like sharing other people's success. How often are you doing that? You know, a lot of times I thought in the beginning, like I couldn't share the opportunity because I wasn't successful. I wasn't there yet. And now looking back, you know, being where I am now to where I was, you know, 12K is a very amazing rank. And I have so many people on my team now that wish they were there. So to even withhold that rank for that long is an accomplishment. And I was always discrediting myself because I seen people start after me, go past me, become a millionaire before me, like, you know, all these things that could have easily made me want to give up. But you have to know, like, the time will be right. Like, could you imagine me hitting like 40K or, you know, December and then January re-rank, like, or, you know, how they have these bonuses. So like, you just looking back, like everything happens for a reason. But the biggest thing that you can do that if you're not doing is sharing the opportunity. Like I have faulted with that for so long because I was like, just about the product. Well, I would still be, you know, how many people like don't even know? Like I just met 3 moms that all have the same situation, you know, all are in a position where they need help. And I 100% went full force with opportunity because they're the ones, like, if you just choose to listen, like you have the solution to their problem. The products, obviously, but when you have people coming out, crying out to you, like you have that, you have to be of service to them. You have to share. And if you're not at a place where you feel like confident, like you've had, you know, you see all those people posting like 100 new promoters this month, like stop comparing yourself because it's not common. Like I've been on the struggle bus this month, like trying to get new people, you know, but last month was a really good month. And that's what happens with every single person. And I was listening to Twins' story this morning, and she said the same thing. She's like, some months I have a lot of people, and some months I don't have any signups, you know? So it's just about, but just don't stop sharing because you feel like you're not successful. You know, that's, I think the biggest thing is people don't understand how impactful that is and how those people are really watching you, showing them the opportunity of what you can provide.
And I think, like, piggybacking off of what Rochelle said, back when in the beginning, you know, I kept hearing to share the product and the opportunity will fall into place. Just share the product first. But we do have to share our story about this opportunity and what it has done for us, and how it has built your confidence alone, how it's given you community. Like the small things are what people understand, not the big things. So when you talk about the opportunity, you really do have to just share your story. We say this all the time. People relate to stories. Mm-hmm. And that is why it is so important to know who you are speaking to on on your platform of choice and speak to their pain points. Rochelle is a good example. Like she's talking about her story as a single mom and her struggles. And she's attracting those women to her because she knows that's the person that she's attracting in. So I'm going to put myself on mute because the dog is about to not bark. Okay, never mind. But I will say this. In the beginning, we were all just running super fast. Nobody really knew what they were doing. If they had a pulse and they said yes to the promoter, I was like, all right, I'm bringing you in. But when I look back, that meant I was dragging people with me, which really does not let you flourish. And I know that there are several of us that have learned in the past couple of months, like, we are a business. Imagine this. We are a business and we are our own company. When you hire an employee, don't you have qualifications? Don't they have specific qualifications on what they desire as an employee? We need to do the exact same thing. So I told this to Janelle a couple of weeks ago. My first job out of college was recruiting. And I never put this 2 and 2 together because I was in massive growth, right? And when we can either bring someone with a pulse, and we've all done this before, where we might have utilized a customer and bring them in as a promoter to qualify for a trip. I've done that multiple times, but they're not building their business. They're not, I would have been better off with them as a customer. I would be making more money with them being a customer than them being a promoter. That I didn't know because I didn't know the compensation plan. My point is that we really do, sorry, dog's gonna bark in about 2 seconds.
Yep. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Okay, Amazon just dropped by. So what I was saying is that the caliber of the people that I brought in and haven't been working, that's my own fault because I didn't qualify people in. I've actually been talking to people about the opportunity, but because I didn't feel like they were a fit, I said no. I would not have done that 2 to 3 years ago. I want them to be a fit. I want them to work. You had said the same thing too to me earlier about this individual. Rochelle, why don't you share that story?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just having that conversation and setting them up for success because we are so used to that, like, do this in the nooks and crannies. And I mean, it's like my ears bleed now that I've done all this other training because I'm like, oh my gosh, I've done that so many times with people. And you guys, I have like 27, 28 active legs at the end of the month. Not all those are even ranked. Like, just like Carmel said, like I would have been better off those people just stayed a customer because it's hurting me not to have these people rank. And I didn't know that, but now we know better. And you have that conversation when someone's coming to me and they're like, I want to join your team. I want to do review. Okay, well, let me lay out the foundation. This is a business. I'm going to expect this of you now. I'm going to want this for you. I can't want this more than you. And I refuse to motivate a grown ass adult. So if you don't want better for your family, then that's cool. Stay a customer, love the product. Share a couple people, get your product for free, great. But if you're not willing to come in and lock arms with me and grow this to the very top, then I don't need your baggage. And, it's having that heart to heart and that love, the hard love. Cause I had a customer this morning that was like, I really want to share this. Maybe I should do the opportunity. She's like, I've been watching you and your time freedom and how you're just going about your day and doing this and doing that. I said, don't be fooled. This is freaking hard work, and before when I worked my 9 to 5 and I worked this business, I thought, oh, like the day that I don't have to go to clock in anymore, it's going to be so much easier. Well, shame on me, fooled myself because it's so much, you're going to apply so much more when you have that freedom of your schedule, but you want to interview these people. The last thing you want to do is jump on Sally comes on and then you spend 2 weeks trying to train her and then she ghosts you. Because I know we've all had that. So just really being intentional with who you're attracting. That way they're long-term success for you. And, you're going to be a part of their journey a lot longer and are going to encourage them and motivate them to grow and think outside the box and want more for their family. And it just now that I've implemented so much more intention with my posts and my sharing, that's how I've attracted these new women. I came from a very broken down place. So now that people see me healed, like they want to get healthy with me because they see me from broken to now where I am now, and I think once you understand what you're attracting, which I never understood before, I would just throw it all out there and kind of vomit all over the place. Now you're working with more passion, more intention with these people, and you're going to come off so much more like well-oiled to deliver the right information to them because you can relate to what they're experiencing and what solution you're going to be able to provide to them.
And you feel better, right? You don't feel like, oh, when you lose that promoter that doesn't want to promote with you, you don't feel bad. Mm-hmm. I'll just definitely say, like, there are people that I brought on this team that I didn't think about these things, but they have turned out to be my best leaders. So there's that. We can't discredit that. But I want to get an assessment here. How many of you share about your opportunity at least once a week. Like show of hands or chat in the comments. I know Tensi, Rochelle, when you were talking about that one individual, how you were like, you're not ready yet, or you need to stay as a customer, Tensi is really good at that too. She's done that for her team as well. Like really seeing if that individual is ready to hit VIP 800 and ready to run a business is what she is really good at. And her team, the success of her team is what it is because she does that. So, you know, I probably saw 3 hands. And then let's see.
Well, and how you share the opportunity, like something simple, like one week, every Tuesday I share about our paydays, you know, and so, you know, taking a picture at the gas pump or a picture of your grocery cart full of groceries. Like those things are so little that people relate to because we've all been in places where we only had to put $10 in our gas tank. That's all we had to put in, you know, but when you're providing a vision for people, they're like, wow, like I really wish I could go into the store and not have to check my bank account. And it's the little things like that that are going to track, not VIP 800 and put up graphics and memes that nobody knows about. Like they don't know what rank, they don't even care what rank we are. They don't know what that means, you know? And what is Thrive doing for you and what in the opportunity way, that's how you want to share. You know, you want to be able to, something that they're going to be able to relate to, and just, it doesn't have to be complex. You know, before we're like, how are we going to, you know, as if this one story is going to attract 50 people. It's not. It's going to attract the right person. It's going to be that one person. And looking at every single person that does come your way, you know, giving them that kind of evaluation interview, and then treating them like it's your next 200K. You know, don't skip out on those opportunities. But I know for me, like I didn't share the opportunity enough at all. And now I make it a point always to be open about that, especially every week, you know, every payday, like just if you have a hard time, like just remember like how you were pre-Thrive, like, and you'll find out something post or something to share.
Right. I think too, the next thing that people think about is, well, how often do I have to post about it? Listen, you're going to post about it and no one's going to comment. You have to expect that, but they are watching, just like we've talked about. If you've been here for a long time, we've talked about this time and time again, where you don't think people are watching you that you're connected with, and they come out of the woodwork saying, okay, I'm ready to start thriving. How many of you have seen that, right? Because you talk about Thrive enough. But when you would, if you're not doing that about the opportunity, then how will they know that you are looking for people? And then what I have found more recently, and I know I see a lot of you in my stories, the more I talk in my stories, the more conversations I have, the more people say, what is it that you do? Mm-hmm. But me posting something about the opportunity, join my team, if they're not engaging in my post, normally they won't say anything, but they're watching. But when I'm having conversation in stories and DMs, and you can utilize this in Facebook too, it's like you're having a face-to-face conversation with this individual and you're getting to know them. We all know that Instagram is it's more about strangers over there than it is about Facebook, which are more friends. So when I'm having these conversations and I'm adding value, they're asking me the questions I want them to ask because I'm listening. So, you know, you do have to share about the opportunity. You have to share about what it has done for you. It doesn't matter that you didn't hit 12K yet or that you're a top leader. I know that I was so adamant about $200 a month would bless my family and have me stress less about groceries. Those are the things that people understand, just like Rochelle said. So sharing those small things, the community, how many people want community, right? Like that's another huge thing that you can share about, even though you don't have a big team yet. But what this company has given you is community, and a lot of people are looking for that. So sharing that and being consistent about over and over again about your message about what this opportunity has done. because you may think everybody's watching you that follow you every day. They don't. And what shows up in your 6 to 9 posts, I mean, people on Facebook, you really have to scroll down. If you haven't posted about the opportunity in a while, they won't know, right? So you have to be consistent. Pick a day. I like to use Thankful Thursday to either talk in my stories about the opportunity or to my personal story, or talking about it in a post, but making it at least once a week talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And like what I do, if I'm talking like in my story, if I'm on camera, like I'm talking as if I'm talking to that person that I'm intentionally trying to reach, because I know she's snooping my page. You know, we can see those people on our stories. So I talk as if I'm talking to her directly, or that type, you know, that individual that I'm looking for, because it's going to come off a lot different than you're just trying to like scope like this big amount of people. You know, that's why really when we talk about fine tuning, knowing who your audience is, that's when you're going to feel so much more genuine about your posts. And it can be, you know, like I did one in my bed this morning, like because I was working from my bed. You know, there's a lot of people that wish they didn't have to get up and leave their house and rush hour and dealing with all those things, you know. So it's just kind of pinpointing, you know, when you're talking, always show your face. And the worst thing that you can do is what, like Mondays, be consistent with sharing Thrive and sprinkling in your stories. And then you go MIA for like 3 days. And then people are like, oh, they're not 100% about that because they're so inconsistent. Like you have to think about, you know, what you're attracting, and would you want to be what you want people on your team to do that? You know, no matter what, like I always show up, you know, it doesn't matter my personal life going on, which I should have a reality show. I'm just putting that out there. Maybe I'll attract it to me one day. I'll get paid for this. But it's like, nobody knows, you know, all the other stuff I'm going through, but they know I'm going to show up. I'm never going to say, hey, go hop on this training, go hop on this Zoom, and I'm not going to be there. You know, that's a horrible thing. You don't want to develop that type of leadership, you know. So showing up every single day, no matter what, you know, make it happen. Watch the replays, you know, find that person that inspires you, you know, be in their inbox. And that for me is what I choose to be a part of. I've friended so many people that are not, you know, are the upline, sideline, whatever, you know. It's just the way that they deliver is inspiring to me. So I want to attract that type of thing and be that type of leader.
you guys have any questions?
Carmel.
Janelle?
I'm walking all over my house. You don't want to see my background. Hey, would you touch on this? Because I know I talk about this heavy with my team, and I really, really push this to Rochelle big time when she was sharing. One of the things that I've noticed over time is, you know, people don't think that they can get there when you are really splashy. And, you know, maybe people that are even listening to this aren't like splashing their cars all over the place. But the journey, you know, of I was you, I felt like you. I mean, can you share a little bit more about that? Because people love to hear that you overcame, and that they can too, because you were there. And I feel like when I watch people and it just looks like, I'm really sick of seeing your $1 million house, that is not appealing to me. Not saying that anybody does, but you get what I'm saying. So would you mind touching on that?
Yeah. So I'm going to share my story, and then I'm going to share how I share my story. Is that what you want, Janelle? Somebody should have taken.
Yes. Sorry, my unmute kept. Yes.
Okay.
So that they can see that you weren't always successful and always feeling good, you know? Okay.
Yes. So I, like all of you, you saw your friends posting about this opportunity, this product. You were seeing them hit cars. Like, I think in 1 week, I saw 5 of my friends hit auto bonus. And we went through losing our house, getting a car repossessed, humbling ourselves, both college graduates, humbling ourselves to find someone that would rent to us, something that we can afford. And we live in California. Okay. So California's not cheap. And then my husband, that first Christmas that he got laid off, he had to humble himself and work at a Christmas tree farm in order for us to make ends meet on Christmas. So we were stressed financially. I had dabbled in three other network marketing businesses and never hit a home run. I probably spent more money than I made with these three companies. So that last company, I literally said, nope, no more. I'm not good at this. I'm not going to be that person that's successful at these types of businesses. But when I saw this opportunity, I thought, okay, well, I'll share. We all say this. I'm going to share with my friends and family, and that's probably going to be it. But you guys, where we were, and I had this thought in my head because at that time I was an esthetician and I took care of people's skincare and did lashes. And when they don't show up, I don't get paid. And at that time I was 44. And I thought to myself, 50 is close by, 60 is close by. When the hell am I going to retire? Because that tunnel looked dark and bleak. And I was already working as a promoter, but I just didn't have the sight of this could be more for our family until I went to Thrivepalooza. Again, I didn't think that I was leader or top rank leader quality, but I sat in that Thrivepalooza and I thought to myself, if they could do it, so can I. But I didn't compare my timeline to them. Mm-hmm. At that time is when Blair, Beth, Claire Malone jumped on board, and that was Elise's focus. So I was pretty much fairly on my own, but I would listen to all the calls, like Janelle was saying, and I applied things. They said, have a local. Okay, I don't have a leader here, but I'll go ahead and have a local. Leanna and I did locals. No one showed up, but I kept doing. And then when I hit auto bonus, it was pretty much because I had a strong leg. But when I hit 40K was when I went to Thrivepalooza. And I thought to myself in that seat, I'm going to be up on that stage. I don't know when, but I'm going to be up on that stage to get my 200K. That next year I hit 200K. I did what my leader said, write your goals down. And I did not lose sight of, if I did not hit that goal, it was me. It was my opportunity to tap out and say, I quit. Mm-hmm. Because if I quit, that is all on me. And when I wouldn't hit those goals, I thought to myself, and this is when Passion Planner was what Elise would talk about. I would get to my planner at the end of the month and I would have that meeting in the mirror with myself. Did I do A, B, and C? What didn't I do? What do I need to do more of? The only person that is going to give you that own evaluation and that honest truth is yourself. And as I recognize the things that I didn't do and the things that I needed to do, I did them. And I kept, when I went from 40K, I went from 40K to 80K for 4 to 6 months. It took me to 200K. Remember, I started this business not believing that I was made for this industry. I didn't think I was a top ranked leader. And I'm here today to tell you that I am no one special. My story is not special. I just had the desire, the burning desire to change our family's financial future. 3 years ago, we were able to become homeowners again. Like, that's huge. And it was really based on me working. I would have had to go back to corporate America, which I didn't want. So I really had that burning desire to make that change for my family. It is possible, but what I will tell you is it took work on my mindset. There were times where I was crying because things were happening that I didn't have control over, but I kept showing up because I knew that this would give us the freedom, the time freedom that our family desired, and that we can have less stress financially. So it's doable. And so when I share my story, I don't talk about, when I saw people earning their cars, I couldn't relate to that. But when I heard someone say, I just wanted to pay for my groceries, I could relate to that. So I share my story about what we went through and how I wanted just to pay for the groceries. That is how I share my story with the opportunity. And towards the end of my post, I will say something. How many of you can relate to humble beginnings? It may not be someone's, it may not be that question of who's ready to join my team, but it's more about connecting to someone that can relate to my story and trying to move that conversation into the DMs. So when we struggle, it's where our story is. And I'm going to go here really quickly. And if it doesn't appeal to you guys, I'm sorry, but I prayed so hard for change, and it didn't come across to me until I was at 200K. But the reason why I went through that struggle is so that I can share my story to inspire that same person that's struggling with the same thing. And that is why it was placed on my lap. And it's now my purpose to share and inspire other people that they can have that freedom as well. And that's how I share my story.
I think Ashley had a question in the chat.
Oh, how do you take? Cole, I think your question, how do you take that extra trip in addition to?
I know I'm horrible at wording.
No, it's okay. So I have been in cold market ever since I entered into Instagram. Instagram is the place where someone invited you to the party that you barely know, and you're entering into a party that you're like, hi. You have to have conversations with people. You have to connect with similarities. So how I've started to really connect with people are my DIY projects in sourdough. Has nothing to do with Thrive. I show up with Thrive in my stories, and that when I make connections with my sourdough and DIY, I build that relationship. Now we're talking about something. We're in a party together. We're talking about something. We're laughing at each other's posts or what they're doing in their stories. We're hooking up. We're switching digits, right? We're becoming friends, and we're nurturing that relationship. It's not something that happens right away in getting them to buy or join your team. But in my mind, I'm like, yep, I have her. I want her on my team. So I'm going to just kind of nurture this relationship and ask her when the time is right. I think before it was because I wasn't in a calm energy of like desperation of a new promoter, I'd be throwing out that question. You want to be on my team? You want to join my team? As opposed to being patient and knowing when to ask that question. So I think the biggest thing that I will share is you have to start sharing more about what you're passionate about. And when you know who you're talking to, things become easier to share, and you start connecting with like-minded individuals that want to know more, that say, I'm inspired by what you're doing. I want to learn more. Because essentially that's what you want from people. Hopefully that answered your question. Okay, good. Thanks.
I know what you mean. Like when we used to be in that hustle mentality, desperation mode, you would be so quick to just talk over the situation instead of just listening. Because people they're gonna open up to you. You can relate on certain levels, but you really have to wait and not just be like attack. Because I mean, how many of us get hit up all the time from other businesses, other people that are trying to get us there? And I respectfully say, hey, like, I'm happy here. I love your hustle. Keep going, keep shining, like, go do you, but I still let them follow me. I still let them watch, because I know we got the best thing out there, but I'm not gonna, but they're so quick to like pounce. And, one thing that you have, like, I was talking to Carmel about this morning was like, you have to wake up and decide every day for yourself. Like, I'm not gonna wait for my phone to ding for someone to be like, hey, are you going to get up and do your job today? Like, no, like you have everything inside you that you already need, and you have the matches. So whether you like that match and you fire yourself up, you know, what that might be, whatever that might be. Some people like to get up and go for a run. Someone, you know, some people like to watch motivational videos. Like, find what lights you up, whether you watch the same recording over and over and over again. You know, if that's what gets you heightened for the day. But we are blessed to be a blessing to other people, and to, like, we can be like, who can I help today? You know, like, I pray every day, like, who are you going to be able to attract to me to help be of service to them? Because that's what we get to do here. We have the most rewarding thing in our hands every single day. And if you're taking it for granted, which we all do, I check myself all the time, you know, you have to rise to the top. But I don't, like, for me personally, I don't depend on anybody else to do that but me. I might cry a little bit, have a little 30-second, you know, whiny sesh, you know, but other than that, like, get it out and go, because not every day is going to be perfect, you know. And you know, more what I focus on, this is just with me personally, but it's just living a life that that's going to outlive me, you know, that for just to see so far past, you know, what so many people just live like right here, you know, they're just, this is all they see. So showing people, you know, what is available to them, because I know me, I didn't believe that I was ever going to be a part of something like this, or such a massive movement, you know. And when you really soak that in, and then when you come off and that time is right to share with that person, they're just gonna be like, wow, I am so inspired by you, you know, and you're going to attract the right people to you. So just don't hold back. You know, if you don't have an auto bonus, share someone else's, you know, share the community. I posted on a Zoom the other day and I was like, you know, we have trainings here. We have weekly things to plug into. And I put that in my story, and people were like, one of those girls I didn't even know follow me. And she's like, can you tell me more? Because I'm like, you can win here. You know, you have that support system. And if we didn't have the community that we have right now, like, I mean, we would be on a struggle bus. So I hope you guys dive into knowing how big of this platform that we have, and truly taking that and running with it, and, you know, motivating your own self to go after and find those people. I don't even know what time we're at, Carmel.
We're at 6:13. So do you guys have any questions before we hop off? The recording will definitely be on the page.
I do.
So if you guys have any questions, now's the time. Otherwise, when this recording goes up, feel free to drop your questions under the comments as well.
I have one question. So sorry, this is Sonia. I know you guys will see my name, but when you talk about interviewing your people, what is your criteria? What are you looking for? And do you think it should be different based on, like, you want a team that meshes with your personality, but you also kind of want people, I mean, we all know diversity is amazing, right? So we want diversity, but we also want, you know, like, you don't want someone to come in and be like, oh, you're wrong at every turn. So what is it that you look for? What are your kind of, you know, quote unquote interview questions or whatever? How do you judge a candidate?
Well, I think, and Rochelle, chime in as well. I think, like, my candidate is going to be different than Rochelle's. I can share my list of questions that I go over, and we got them from Kristen Boss. But I don't always go by that, because as I'm having a conversation with the individual, like, what they're telling me leads me to another question, which will help me, like, what's important to them. Like, our team is we all have our aspects of fitness, right? That's a part of who we are. I like to make sourdough. I like to teach people things. Like, I want to be able to connect to them with a certain level. You know, a big thing for me is faith. Like, a lot of my team does devotionals in the morning. I know a lot of you guys do too. That's important to me. But someone that's watching you already is attracted to those things. So pulling out, you have to think about, if this is your company, what are your standards? What are your qualifications to say that this person is going to jump on board? But I also think that Rochelle's question that she gave today to the person is, are you willing to lock arms with me and build a business? Or do you just want to continue being like a customer? She phrased a question like that to.
Yeah, and then one of the things too, Sonia, that's a good question, because it is different with every person I talk to. But I ask them, what are you willing to sacrifice to get what you want? You know, this is the customer I was talking to. She's a grandma, a young grandma, but she still works. Her time is consumed by family. But she says if it wasn't for her Thrive, she wouldn't get to do what she does every single day. But if you're willing to look at the opportunity side with your busy schedule, what are you gonna be able to commit? You know, what time are you willing to sacrifice, you know, not watching your TV show or hopping on a Zoom, or, you know, because I want to know that, because from the get-go, we have to set expectations and boundaries and letting them know, you know, in these first 14 days, like, I'm going to be talking to you every single day. I never did that before. You know, I never set the foundation to build them, because I want their success, you know, but I can't want it more than them. And if they're only here to diddle dally and not just be a part of it, then I'm sorry. Like, I would just rather keep you a customer and bring on your referrals. A lot of the customers, if they're bringing more than two, like, I always shoot them an extra goodie, something, you know, because I think that if I'm happy with them staying, you know, as a customer, if they're not wanting to be a part of the opportunity, because the opportunity here is something that you're never going to have again. So I don't want you to take this lightly. And I sure as heck don't want to waste my time helping you if you're not seeing the big picture. But it's our job to show those intangibles, like Janelle taught on. You know, you take all these golden nuggets that we are blessed to get, like all these trainings, all these resources, people providing their time to us. Like, we don't have to have that. Like, we get so spoiled here, you know, just like I was telling you today, like, for them to do 15% off for the rest of the month, they don't have to do that.
Yes.
And for you to be sitting on it like it ain't nothing, like, that's your thing though, you know? So yeah, I just feel like, you know, it's based off the person and what they're willing to commit with is what the conversation is going to be. Because I ask them what it is that they want. But if you listen to them, I just want to pay my light bill. I just want to pay my phone bill. I don't want to have to pick and choose which bill I'm going to pay this month and what's going to be late next month, because we've all been there. So hopefully that answers, Sonia.
It's a hard question to answer, actually, because it is very different. And I don't know, the best thing that I can tell you, for me, it's a gut feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's always about the gut. For me, it's about the gut. It's about that feeling I get. So.
Yeah. Well, and how are you showing up, and are you 100%? And, you know, people see that, they know I'm passionate about this. You know, I don't care where I am. If the opportunity arises, I'm going to talk to somebody about it, because as life changing as it was for me, it literally changed the entire trajectory of my entire life. So at that magnitude, how could you got to let all those other fears go away. But that's what I held on to for so long, you know? So I'm thankful that I sat at that place for that long, because that was necessary for me to see the vision now. And you get to a place where you look back and you're like, well, now I get it. Like, I get it.
Something that maybe it would be a great exercise is almost writing your own want ad.
Mm-hmm.
And a description of who these people are that you want working with you.
Good idea.
Yeah.
I like that. I've actually done something similar when we did use, like, back when we used to post like work from home.
Yeah.
Back in those days.
Yes.
Now everybody does that, so we can't say it anymore. It's not appealing. It's like, oh, well, I already work from home. I work for AT&T. I work at home. Like, well, yeah, we're more than that working from home now. So yeah, think of the leader that you would like to attract and what qualities they need to possess, and then be that person. So you attract that person.
Mhm.
Like, it's so you just have to like showing up. It's just I don't really know what else past that I can, say. It's just to show up and be what you want to be. Like always outgrow your team. Like always go way past, and you're a leader on this, you have a team if you have one person underneath you. So just always outgrow them, keep going, and attract what you want and not have that, desperation vibe, because nobody likes that. But anyone else have any questions? More questions?
I think what Rochelle and I talked about to wrap this up is a call to action for this. I know that a lot of us don't talk about the opportunity enough. Like, what are you going to do differently now that we've done a little bit of sharing what works? What are you going to be implementing for yourself to grow your business? Like, I think maybe what we'll do is have a call to act post so that people can engage and just share, because we can do these trainings, but it will not serve you unless you apply something from what you have learned. So I'll set up a post where you guys can think about like what we talked about and what you're going to implement into your business. The last 90 days is coming up of the year. So it's a perfect time to share what you're going to do differently. All right.
And Devon posted in there about how do you share somebody else's success? You can, sometimes even a fan page story. So you getting your product for free is success. If someone else has inspired you, like there's other platform, other people that you follow, maybe they shared something that inspired you. That's a success post. It doesn't have to be, oh, so-and-so did $15 million in sales. Like people don't even look at that number anymore. That's not gonna inspire that person that you want to attract, right? It's not like that. You're kind of gonna miss you're aiming for a wide range of people. Actually, not taking a nap is success. Yes, that is true. So it doesn't have to be like Lavelle related success. It can be, just like I said, like, the gas station thing, it can be whatever. But I know for me, I have no problem sharing, I share other people's stories all the time, because my story doesn't mean, someone might not relate to what I have to say. It might be something else that's going to trigger someone's desire to look into this further than just watching on the sideline. You want to add to that, Carmel?
I think the biggest that I'm rarely on Facebook these days, but sharing stories directly from Lavelle. There are times that people would overemphasize all the different ranks that people don't understand. So I would copy and paste it into my story with their picture.
Yeah.
When people talk about I earn 4K, 5K, whatever, the person looking in doesn't understand what that is. So that's how you could share their story. If it has inspired you, it's going to inspire someone that's like-minded like you. So does that make sense, Devon?
Or like you could share, like, I love how this woman went from this to that. That's like taking a part of her story and taking that clip. Mm-hmm. Not doing it like when people share directly from the fan page to their Facebook page, like don't just hit the share button, like copy the text and take their picture and then do a post, because people will just like scroll right past. They're not even going to read it. So, oh, I hear Janelle on.
This is from Janelle. What is? Oh.
Okay. relaying on what you are struggling with. Oh, we are open to next month's training, so we can figure out what you guys are struggling with and add that for us to cover. That's great. Yes. That is definitely what we need to do for some of October.
Yes.
So that's something we can hit on, we can kind of do a poll and ask that question and then base out the trainings from there.
All right, you guys, I'm gonna stop the recording.